from Cleveland's most accurate weather team. This is 19 First Alert Plus, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
And good morning, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now. You're looking live into downtown Cleveland, a much different picture than we had 24 hours ago, coming out of that fairly mediocre, big to whatever kind of adjective you'd like to use for yesterday's snow, depending on where you were. Some areas seeing more than 13 inches of snow out to our east. Downtown, we saw a couple of inches, Parma 4 inches, so a pretty substantial snow. Now it's all about the cold, even though this is going to go away, bringing in 19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page. Erica, that number you have there in blue, that's a pretty eye-opening number.
Yeah, and it really has been most of the morning. When we talked about the lake effect setup that we had, we were talking about Lake Erie water temperatures that were sitting roughly low to mid 40s, and then we had this Arctic burst of air that moved across Lake Erie. So that's what kind of helped to get us that lake effect scenario to begin with. But even though the lake effect's gone, we're still dealing with that Arctic air mass on the backside of this system. So yes, the air temperature through the morning has been into the teens and 20s. That's why we were saying, if you're going to be out and about on the roadways, while a lot of our interstates and main thoroughfares are pretty clear in terms of any snow that's left on the roads, if you're talking about those side streets, some intersections, some local roads that maybe didn't get completely cleared yesterday, because that temperature is so cold, you're still likely going to be dealing with some slick spots across the area. Not to mention, you got that south wind at 14 miles per hour. It's going to add a wind chill factor to that temperature. So if you step outside, while the air temperature registers 22, it's going to feel more like it's 9 degrees. So if you're going to be headed out and about really throughout the rest of the afternoon, just make sure you're bundling up. This is not going to be a significantly warmer day. We will see some improvements, especially once we get into the later part of this afternoon. Really, once we can work in a bit more of that sunshine from west to east across our area, but that's even going to take some time. And truthfully, temperatures at best, I think, for us will stay middle 30s, upper 30s more so for places like Sandusky, Norwalk, even down towards Mansfield, lower 30s where we hold on to that cloud cover off to the east. And again, when you factor in the wind, at best, it's probably going to feel more so like the upper 20s as we go through the later part of this afternoon. Now, there will be some changes for us as we look ahead towards tomorrow and even into Friday. That all comes with a little bit more heat that's going to be building back into our area. But as we do that, we're also building in some moisture across Northeast Ohio. So think about all of the snow that you may have received over the past 24 hours or so, especially I'm talking to folks that maybe live east of Cleveland, where you picked up several inches of snow. That's going to melt here through the course of the next, I would say, 24 to 48 hours, with temperatures back above freezing not only during the day but through the overnight as well. On top of that, we're going to be dealing with some rain that works back in on Friday. So you're going to have a lot of likely soggy conditions here as we go through the end of the work week. And if you tend to get a little bit of a backup in terms of some of that water, or if you have, say some still snow-covered areas, make sure those drains are clear so that a lot of that water can rush back and away, because we're talking upwards of about half of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that, as we look ahead towards Friday with this widespread rain opportunity to get our Friday started. So this is the beginning of what's going to be a pretty active stretch for us. It's going to take us through the weekend. I don't think it's going to rain at all times through the day. I really think the Friday morning commute will probably be the messiest, the less ideal, just because of the widespread rain opportunities. Because you see, as we go through Friday evening, we fast forward into Saturday morning, it's very hit or miss type of rain chances. They're still there, but coverage is not going to be quite as great. So just keep that in mind as we go through the next couple of days. Good news is, if you're not a fan of the colder air, say, that's in place today, we do have some improvements in that department, which we can kind of show you a little bit more in that 7-day forecast.
Excellent. Give us 15 seconds and we'll get to that 7-day.
I've represented families just like yours for over 4 decades. Listen, if you need me, call me. You know I'll be there for you, and I'll make them pay. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye out for you.
And Erica is going to walk us through the 7-day forecast with some much better temperatures.
Yeah, definitely. I think even the winter lovers probably don't mind having a little bit of warmth working back in, because this morning was pretty chilly, especially across the area. So temperatures today, again, as we highlighted, mid-30s. We'll drop back into the lower 30s this evening. One thing to note about this evening, after sunset, we're talking upper 20s to lower 30s. You're basically going to stay at that point as we go into early Thursday. Thursday is where we make the leaps and bounds in terms of our afternoon highs. If you picked up a lot of snow yesterday, you can probably subtract, I would say, at least 5 degrees from that temperature, because as snow melts, it actually cools the atmosphere around you. So it's actually a cooling process. So your temperature won't get quite as warm, but you will be slowly melting away that snow so that you can then feel the effects of that 50-degree air once we get into Saturday and Sunday. So yes, we're going to stay above average through the weekend. Temperatures not bad, pretty mild for this time of the year, lower 50s. But again, holding on to opportunities for rain, not washouts by any means. We'll continue to fine-tune the forecast as we get a bit closer. It does look like, though, we may see the bottom falling out in terms of our temperatures again early this next week, with another opportunity for rain Monday into Tuesday and potentially some wintry impacts once we look ahead towards next Tuesday. But again, that's 7 days away. We've got time to fine-tune any wintry impacts there with our forecast as we get a little bit closer.
Did you see Erica get all sciencey on us there, talking about how when snow melts, it makes the atmosphere cold?
Yep.
She slipped it in there for your science lesson for the day. Erica Page, 19 First Alert meteorologist. We certainly appreciate you checking in. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. We're looking for improvement, and we're going to see it over the next few days, as you just heard from Erica. But it is chilly out there right now. Feels like 9 degrees with the wind chill. Some gray skies. Looking for that sun. We'll see it more so tomorrow. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital platforms. We have our 11 o'clock news coming up in just about an hour on CW43, then our noon news on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. I want you to have a good day.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.